All right, welcome, Sagar. Before we get going, why don't you just give us a brief overview of your background?
Yeah, I joined the organization back in 2016 when I finished my master's. I started off as a junior business analyst, taking notes for one of our clients, and eventually I'm at a point where I started working on projects. So my role right now is a senior business analyst and a project manager at Enqbator. So I work with clients and work on their projects and make sure that they're delivered on time.
Okay, well, what we're here to talk about today, we're talking about a project you recently completed with Beaumont ACO, or the Beaumont Accountable Care Organization. So just to give a little bit of background about that project, Enqbators work closely with the digital marketing team at Beaumont, supporting the Beaumont.org website. But specifically for Beaumont ACO, tell us a bit, if you can, more I guess about Enqbator's partnership with Beaumont ACO and some background information on what this newer mobile app project involved.
Yeah, initially it all started off with the Beaumont website. Beaumont Accountable Care Organization, they were on CareWork CMS initially, so the website wasn't responsive. So one of the main intentions was to do a redesign of the website and migrate the content management system over from CareWorks to Sitefinity. So that was like phase one of the project. We had someone from Beaumont come up with the designs. We have implemented the templates on Sitefinity, and from there on, the ACO organization was taking care of the content. The phase two of the website was creating a portal for the physicians and managers where they can access their own documents. And then the mobile app was more of a phase three, where the ACO team's ultimate goal was to increase the physician interaction with the organization. So in order for their convenience, they always wanted to have a mobile app. Because for physicians and their managers to access the documents, they won't always have a computer with them, and having a mobile app is just convenient and easy. So that was the main idea behind it, and at the same time, they wanted to have the biometric authentication so that it's easier to log in, so that each time they log in, they don't have to put their ID, password, and a two-factor authentication token for security purposes. So yep, the bottom of the line was to provide them a convenient way to access their portal and documents. So that was the reason. That was the main idea for developing the application.
Right. So it sounds like the major challenge was finding a way to deliver that content in an easier way. Pretty much. So what were the main challenges, do you think, facing Beaumont ACO? Or the main things this project was looking to solve, or challenges you ran into possibly?
Sure. So initially, during, as I mentioned, the phase two was creating a portal on the website for physicians and their managers. So once the portal was created, we have imported all the users in, all the physicians and their managers with their dependencies. At the same time, we have uploaded all their documents based on their permission. So by the time we started working on this application, there were already hundreds of physicians who are accessing the portal in Sitefinity through the website, and they already have an existing set of documents. Not only that, it also had an LMS, a learning management system, where the ACO team creates courses for the physicians. I think based on when they complete the course, I think they provide some incentives. So the easiest and the best way was to create a mobile application and leveraging all this content that has already been inputted into the website. We didn't want the clients to start adding content at both places. So imagine if we developed a mobile application from scratch. It'll have its own database, it'll have its own architecture, server, and everything. So by doing that, each time there's new content that needs to be available for a specific physician, and someone from ACO needs to upload the content on the website, and then again on the mobile application to make sure the data is consistent. Not only this, they also have to make sure that all the users that they have on the website versus portal are the same and consistent. And also all the content that they've uploaded so far is available for the physicians on the mobile app too. So after a lot of brainstorming and going back and forth with the clients and the internal team, we decided that the best approach was to leverage what we have created on the website. So basically what we did was we created mobile templates. We wrapped those mobile templates into a mobile application, and we pulled all the information from Sitefinity itself. So technically it is still the website. However, it's available as an application on both Android Store and Apple Store. The only thing from scratch that we have done was the biometric authentication. That's a native application that we had to incorporate within this. So as soon as you download the application, the first step is you, as a physician or a manager, would try to put in your ID, password, and then you'll get your token. And once you get your token, you set up your biometric authentication. Just that piece of it is native built, but the rest leverages the Sitefinity. So by doing this, we have saved a lot of man hours for the ACO team. Each time there's a new user or a bunch of users coming into ACO or exiting ACO, they don't have to maintain two different databases. All they have to do is revoke their access on the website. As the application itself is the website, they don't have to do it again. The same goes for the content as well. They don't have to upload the content twice. If there's any issue, all they have to do is make changes once in Sitefinity on the website, and it'll reflect on the application as well.
So expanding on, one of the major solutions that were put in place, you mentioned Sitefinity, using Sitefinity for housing all the content and using a templated solution. So talk a little bit more about that and how important that, or that was to the entire process and making everything easier, not only for the admins but for people viewing the content on the multiple devices.
Yeah. So as I've said, the original idea is to reduce the workload on the people who are managing the website and the mobile application from the ACO organization. And so by creating these mobile templates and implementing all these pages in Sitefinity as well would just reduce the workload on them. At the same time, when it comes to accessing the content, there's just consistency. So let's say when a user or a physician logs into the portal on a website, they'll see a bunch of documents, and imagine if it was, imagine if there were any irregularities. If they logged into the mobile app, they might be missing a few documents that they were looking at the website just a few minutes ago. This has been completely avoided by having everything powered by Sitefinity. For consistency's sake, and also to reduce the work effort on the ACO organization, this was one of the best solutions that us and the client agreed on.
And the other major thing you mentioned that you put in place, security-wise, biometrics. How important is that in kind of today's world, and how huge of a difference do you think that was for your client in this situation?
Yeah, security-wise, it's really helpful. And at the same time, I'm going to stress on the convenience for the physician as well. Physicians and their managers, especially physicians, wouldn't have time. So each time they want to log in, they don't want to put their ID, password, go to their email, or check the SMS and put the token in each time they log in. So we have incorporated this, and you see this on all the banking applications as well. Let's say if you're logging into your bank account, which can be Chase or Bank of America, your password, your credentials are stored within the application, and then you log in. And then once you set up your biometric authentication, from the next time you log in, all it asks is your fingerprint or Face ID. It's just a secure and convenient way for a physician to log in, and which was mandatory for the client in the mobile application.
Well, one of the things, most important part of any project is going to be kind of what comes of the entire project at the end, the end product or the results. What results, huge benefits do you think is going to come out of this project to make things, better and easier for Beaumont ACO?
Sure. So for ACO, the end goal was to increase the interaction between physicians and the organization, and to also increase the number of physicians within the ACO. From the beginning of the discussions that we had from ACO, initially when we migrated their website over to Sitefinity, they had their end goal. The end goal was to increase the interaction between the physicians and the ACO organization. So the step one was to create a responsive site. The step two was creating a portal, and the step three was the mobile application. The step four in future phases, what we're thinking of is it opens the pathway for the ACO to come up with more ideas and more ways to interact with the physicians. It can be personalized notifications based on their specialty or NPI. It can be some personalized messages to their groups. They can just come up with more interactive ways that they could come up with and incorporate within the mobile application.
So looking back on the entire project, a lot of technical things went on, kind of a lot of important things for the client in this situation. But looking back on this project for you personally, what would you say the most rewarding part was, either for you or for the entire team?
Ultimately, it was just convenience and ease of use, be it for the physicians who are accessing the application or for the ACO organization who's managing the content. Right now, as we have created this in Sitefinity itself, whenever a member of ACO is trying to incorporate a new tile, let's say, right now in the application, as soon as a person logs in, we have a bunch of tiles, and then followed by a footer navigation. So all of these are just pages in Sitefinity. So we just created a convenient way for the ACO team to create these pages. And whenever they're creating the pages, there are just a couple of checkboxes. One, they either check whether this page is going to be in the footer navigation, which is going to be across the mobile app navigation, or two, it can be on the dashboard as a tile. So they have the option to choose which of those two the new page is going to be. And then they also have a font library that we've created for them. All they have to do is select a specific icon and use it for the page. So it's very convenient how they can create a new page or remove a new page or make changes to an existing page. So we just gave them an initial demo of how everything works, and we started off with 3 tiles and maybe 5 pages in the footer navigation. Right now they have 12 tiles with a bunch of different pages, and everything has been created by the team itself. And when it comes to the physicians and the managers, we have seen the number of application downloads increase over the time period since the launch. And we pull a report of number of physicians who are actually active on it. So we don't track any specific user. All it does is it just checks number of users who have set up biometric authentication, meaning number of people who are actually logging into the application. So the team, the ACO team and the physicians so far are really happy of how convenient it is, how responsive it is, and how secure the application is.
Great. Well, thanks, Sagar, for all the great information on this latest Enqbator project. This particular one with Beaumont ACO, a lot of cool stuff that went on. Exciting for another great project to be completed by you and the team at Enqbator.
Definitely, Dave.